Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Dan here from United from Abroad. Another big game coming up this weekend, United versus Brighton. 12:30 kickoff over in America, 5:30 back in the UK. United coming off a 2-1 win at Anfield. First time in almost 10 years. Picked up the victory there. And United were definitely worth the 3 points. So let's get into this. So the last 5 games for each team, United have gone on a lost to City 3-0, beat Chelsea 2-1, lost away to Brentford 3-1, and then the first back-to-back wins under Ruben Amorim in the Premier League, 2-0 win against Sunderland, and then that 2-1 win against Liverpool. Brighton come into this they lost 2-1 to Bournemouth. Then they tied 2-2 with Spurs. Got a 3-1 win away at Stamford Bridge. Then tied 2-2 with Wolves. And then beat Newcastle last weekend 2-1. Danny Welbeck scoring both goals. What I'd like to see. I did predict 11s and all that stuff. I'm just going to go into what I want to see now from a starting lineup perspective. I want to see Senlerman back in goal. He's 2 games, really confident in the Liverpool game, made some really good big saves. A little bit shaky in the Sunderland game, but it's his first game at Old Trafford. But he has the markings of a very good goalkeeper, and it just shows what a bit of confidence behind a back line can do. I'd like to see a back 3 of Yoro, De Ligt, and Mazraoui. We're going to be at home against Brighton. They're good on the ball. They're technically good. I think Yoro finding split passes. De Ligt's a monster. He's been excellent this season. And Mazraoui doesn't lose duels. So I think that'd be my starting back 3 that I'd like to see. And then I bring Dorgu back in, and I put Ahmad back at right wing back. I thought he had a great game against Liverpool. Ahmad got a stupid, he won a clean tackle and got a silly yellow card from the referee. Never a booking, but that's the softness of football nowadays. I think he goes back into Bruno and Casemiro. A lot of question marks around this with Casemiro's legs. Did a lot of travelling for the international break. Him and Cunha, they were in Asia. Came back, played 60 minutes against Liverpool. But I thought, I think it's the 2 that Amorim seems to pick and like in there. And then I think he brings Sesko back in. I think, after watching the Brighton Newcastle game a little bit, Newcastle had a bit of luck. I would say luck. They were definitely trying to put it into Walter Maida, who's like 19 foot tall. But then they surrounded the box and tried to pick up second balls. I think that's you saw United doing that in a different manner against Liverpool. Picking on Van Dijk and Kanai a little bit and picking up the balls in those central areas. I don't know if we'll go as long at home in front of our own crowd. They're gonna have to put the foot on the ball and expect to have a little bit more possession. But Brighton come to Old Trafford. They've beaten us last 3 times, I think. There, so massive bogey team, and it's a big game. How Brighton lined up against Newcastle, they're 4-2-3-1. Weaver, Hector, Dunk, and Kadioglu along the back line. Baleba and Ayari as the 2 midfielders. And then Gomez, Ruta, Minter as the 3, and then Welbeck up front. How they scored their first goal. So how they scored their first goal. Van Hecke plays into Rua dribbles into Welbeck over the Nick Pope, and it was just that easy. Let's just go back to that. It literally was. It was literally one line-breaking pass. Ruta picks up the ball in between the lines. This is the part I'm worried about a little bit with United. In that 5-4-1 kind of defensive structure, because Ruta likes to pick up these pockets. And then he just turned, got on the dribble. Danny Welbeck was in between the two centre-backs, and he scored a great goal. And then the second goal, it was a pass inside from Dunk to Ayari. And then Max Weaver's made a great run off the back of the Harvey Barnes, picks it up on the edge of the box and starts to drive, goes to take a shot. Dan Burns blocked it, and it's fell to Danny Welbeck on the edge of the box, and he's tucked it home for 2-1. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to be an easy game. You know, Brighton have had our number a lot of the times over the last 4 or 5 years. But I'm intrigued to see how United kick on now after winning 2 on a bounce. Got that little monkey off Hammering's back. I think he changes I'd like to see him change the team a little bit and change. You know, they might expect us to come in and play long balls, and now if we do bring Sesko back in, well, one thing I do know is Herzl is not going to complain and moan like Slot did. Oh, we expected Cunha to be up front today and not Sesko. You know, just what do you want Amorim to do? Yeah, Slot. There's 40 hours before the game. There's my starting lineup. You plan around it and beat us. No chance. Yeah, hopefully we can get on a good run here. Pick up another win. Gets us up. Well, we're 2 points off Liverpool right now. We're 6 off the top. Not saying we were going to go and try and win the league, or but momentum's big. It's massive. It's huge. If we can pick up some, a Brighton, pick up 2 wins in the next 2, that's 4 on a bounce into the Tottenham game just before the international break again, which is stupid. We'll have 3 international breaks in 3 months. But then, United come back in and you've got Everton, Palace, West Ham, Wolves. There's the next 4 games, I think. Before you hit a little tricky spell in Bournemouth, Villa, and Newcastle. So we could be sitting pretty well. Or was Liverpool a one-off? I hope not. I hope it's on the other end of that. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Give me your predicted 11s, scoreline. I'm going to go, I think it's going to be a tight affair. I think it's going to be both teams will score. I think United will win 3-1. We'll go 1 up, 1-1, 2-1, and then they'll be throwing the kitchen sink at us, and we'll hit them on the transition and score the 3rd. But yeah, let me know what you think. Give me your comments. And again, don't forget, like, subscribe, and share this with all your mates. Until next time, peace. Come on, United.